Welcome to the Behind the Girl Boss podcast, where every woman's journey takes center stage. Join us in this safe space as we explore the ins and outs of business, career, mental health, the music industry, and more. Whether you're a go-getter or a dream chaser, we've got stories for you. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok for an exclusive backstage pass. Get ready to be inspired, empowered, and entertained. Welcome to the ride. Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to the podcast. So today we have Elyce with us. So hi Elyce.
Hi.
Thanks so much for coming on. Do you want to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do?
Yes, so I am the co-founder and CEO of Frances Valentine. Originally, my partners and I started Kate Spade way back in 1993 and sold that business in 2006. And then Katie Spade and I started Frances Valentine in 2016.
That's so excited. I'm excited to dive into all that with you. But before we do that, I like to do a little hot seat segment to kind of just break the ice and know a little fun facts. So the first one is if you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, that's tough. There are so many great women out there, but I have to say, I think it might be Benjamin Franklin just because I think he's one of the most interesting people in the whole world.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like you can learn so much, honestly, just by like having even like a 5 minute conversation. I feel like would learn so much.
He's just fascinating. I think he had a great sense of humor and he loved women too, which was a nice thing.
Yeah, we love that. The next one is what's one TV show, movie, book, or podcast that you recommend to everyone you meet?
Gosh, I really tend to watch mostly documentaries because I
Okay.
love documentaries, but I'll watch them on just about any subject. One show that is not a documentary that I just finished, and I feel like I've lost a family member because of it, because I loved watching it, was a show called Drops of God. And
Okay.
it's one season and it's got several episodes in that season, but it's very international. It's covers Japan and Paris and Italy, and there's subtitles in all languages, and then they also have English as well. But it's just such a good series. I just loved it.
I've never heard of it. I'm definitely gonna have to check it out.
It's
Like, what does
great.
it talk about?
It's been on my list for a long time. It's about wine, but it's
Okay.
really, when something's about something, it's really about something else. So it's
Yeah.
about relationships and
Okay.
family and business, and it's really, really good. I highly recommend it. And I know you didn't ask for other things, but as far as books go, basically anything by Amor Tolls, I love. Every single book that he's written, I have fully enjoyed. And then for podcasts, I tend to listen to this one radio show every day because I'm kind of a political junkie. It's Michael Smerconish.
Never heard of it. I'm definitely gonna check everything out that you said though,
Yeah,
because I
write
feel
them
like it could be
down.
really interesting. For sure. And then the last one is what's one thing you can't start your day without?
Oh, well, that is easy. That's coffee with almond milk.
Yeah, I'm literally having a
Strong
coffee
coffee.
right now. Like, can't start your day without it. I feel like if I don't have a coffee, like my day just like starts off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, I know. I don't think my day starts without it.
Me either. Well, I'm gonna dive into building a business with you because I feel like it's so cool to have such big businesses that have been successful. So, what inspired you to co-found Frances Valentine, and how do you think your previous experience with Kate Spade kind of shaped your approach to this new company?
Good question. So, when we started Kate Spade, we had all had different experience in the fashion business, but we were all still relatively young, in our late 20s. And Katie and I had always wanted to have a business together. And we were both huge vintage shoppers through high school and college, and can kind of continued that into our adult lives. And part of that was because we were broke most of the time, and it was what we could afford that was cool and new.
Hmm.
But the other part of it, and the thing I realized, over time, and probably at a very young age, was that those vintage pieces were very special. They were at that point then one of a kind, and the
Yeah.
craftsmanship and the beautiful, I don't know, the work that went into each piece, and they were so personal to somebody, really meant something. And I treasure my vintage pieces. I still have just about everything I've ever bought. I just absolutely love them. But one of the things we collected at that time was handbags too. So we started Kate Spade, really Katie's idea to start with handbags and create those. It was a whole different, unique kind of thing. We grew that business. We added different product categories, worked on, a lot of different things over time, and sold that business in 2006. I luckily, had time to have a family during my later years of Kate Spade and spend time with my daughters after we sold it. But Katie and I had both really missed creating. and we missed fashion. So
Yeah.
we started talking about it and decided in 2014 that we were going to launch a new company and start with accessories again. And we started with shoes and handbags. And that's how Frances Valentine was born. And a lot of people ask where the name came from. And, we wanted to do something that kind of related to the Kate Spade name, but we
Mhm.
obviously couldn't use Kate Spade because we had sold that business. So we picked family names of Katie's. One, Frances on her father's side was her grandfather, father and brother's name, and Valentine on her mother's side. And those two names had kind of been floating on our list
Mhm.
separately. And we put them together and we thought, let's make that your best friend and kind of who we are to each other. And so we created this woman who kind of became your favorite person and your confidant and the person who makes you laugh harder than anybody else. And that's who Frances Valentine is. And we started in 2016 and launched on Valentine's Day. And we started with handbags and shoes and added apparel down the road in 2019, 2020.
I love that. And as like a in the fashion world, I feel like fashion just adapts so quickly and there's always new trends. How do you kind of make sure that you kind of stay on key and like with relevant trends that are going on? Because I feel like it's so hard because it's also like not like fast fashion where you just like make something and like sell it right away type of thing. So how
Right.
do you make sure that like you stay on trend but also stay like true to like the brand that you started?
Now, one of the things that Katie and I had always talked about, and a quote from her was, if you never are on trend, you're never off trend. So we try not to follow trends.
Mhm.
Often we hit them with just being lucky. It's nice to be on trend when you do hit it, but we
Yeah.
don't necessarily go out looking for it. Most of our pieces are based on the vintage inspiration. So they are classic pieces and things that you've seen in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s that we've brought back to life and made in a more modern way. So there are things, when you go vintage shopping now, you notice most of the clothes you can buy are a size 2 or a 4, and they
Yeah.
fit a specific person. And I don't know if there weren't other sizes, back in the day, but it seems really weird to me. So we
Yeah.
take those silhouettes, the favorite silhouettes that we love, and are kind of inspired by those shapes and use the detailing from that, but also add a modern sensibility with modern fabrications that are more sustainable. We try and put pockets in just about everything we make because every woman wants pockets in whatever
Yes.
she's wearing. And we try and make it more modern feeling. And that's really how we created the whole collection.
I love that, especially the pocket thing that you were saying. Whenever I buy pants and I think that they have pockets, and then like I go and put my hand in it and it's like sewed up, I get so annoyed because I'm like, I need pockets. I need to put stuff in there. And it just makes me so mad when like I feel like I was fooled.
I know. And you're like, how did I buy these without pockets in them? At least one pocket for your phone.
Yeah, 100%. It's so annoying. But walk us through a little day in your life as a CEO, as a co-founder. Like what does a typical day look like for you? I'm sure it's not always the same, but
No.
what's the vibes?
So I don't really have a typical day, but there are some days specifically when we've got team meetings planned and we'll have kind of back-to-back meetings for things. So it might be, to do with our retail stores, to do with our wholesale business, to do with our e-commerce business or all of our marketing. We have a lot of marketing meetings throughout the day and we're kind of a small team and we work together in two big loft spaces. So it's really nice because if I have a question for somebody, I yell it across the room and vice versa. And
Yeah.
so it's a real kind of communal environment and it's a very collaborative environment. It's really great. But I feel like I'm in, a mixer all day long because we're all working on everything. But every single area relates to the other in our business. So it's nice that, it might be an interruption for folks who are sitting on their computers working, but they also hear what's going on
Yeah.
in every department. So I'll have business meetings usually in the day. We'll work on design in the afternoon. And, we might be working on handbags one day, shoes another day, apparel another day. I do a lot of different personal appearances. So if I'm on the road, I Zoom on those calls. Days are busy every single day, and I love it. It's so much fun. Love what I
Yeah,
do.
for sure. And you also are building like your own little thing as well, like with your Instagram presence, for example. I was like looking at your content and stuff, and you do like a lot of like fashion outfit stuff. Is this something that you want to like tie into like the brand as well, or is this like a whole separate like identity thing?
No, it's really only because of the brand, because so many of our customers were writing in and asking for me to send a picture of my outfit that day.
Hmm.
And why did you put that together? And how did you put that together? Or how can I wear this several different ways? So one of the team members at Frances Valentine said, you really have to do an outfit of the day every day. So I started doing it. It wasn't that long ago, just a handful of months ago. And I get to work at 8:30 in the morning or 8:15, and I do it before anybody gets there so I don't have to shush anybody. And I just shoot my outfit of the day and then do a quick video and send it to the creative team and they post it for me.
I
And
love
it's
that.
really fun. I've gotten used to it, but it really makes you think about your outfit every day. You know, you can't just throw on a t-shirt and jeans and run to the office. It's you have
Yeah.
to think about kind of what inspired you to dress that way that day, and
Yeah.
layering pieces more often. But I love it because it pushes me more too, to make
Mhm.
sure that everything I'm wearing, I really love.
Yeah, for sure. I know sometimes people are like, okay, I'm gonna start with like the pants and then like I'll work the outfit like the rest of it based on like the pants. Like, do you have a staple item you start with, or do you just pick what you're feeling
I
that day?
usually pick the one thing I know I want to wear that
Okay.
day. And you know how you kind of wake up or you're thinking in the shower, oh, what's my day going to be like
Yeah.
today? I tend to dress in a lot of color. I'm wearing black today, but I don't wear black very often. I love black, but I really feel like what you're wearing affects your mood, and it can boost your mood if you're wearing bright and fun colors. So I might want to wear a pink sweater or a pink velvet jacket that day. So I'll start with that and then work around that and find the base pieces that are going to go underneath, the jewelry that I'm going to wear, the shoes, depending on the pants I'm throwing on. But I usually start with one piece that I know I want to wear.
I love that.
That usually
And
has to do with color too.
yeah. No, yeah, I was looking at your page. I'm a person who wears a lot of like more darker colors. And when I
Huh?
was on your page, you wear a lot more like brighter colors. And I was like, this is so fun. And then it kind of like influenced me a little. I was like, maybe like after winter, I'm gonna start incorporating more like brighter colors because it just looks so fun to like look. And like you said, maybe it'll like make my moods better as well.
It does. It honestly does. And when you catch yourself in a mirror and you look over, you're like, oh my gosh. And
No.
you've just, I don't know, it just provides that boost that you need every day.
Yeah.
And on top of that, when you wear a lot of color, you get a lot of compliments. And it's funny how good that makes you feel.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, can you walk us through the creative process of when you're deciding new products and collections to launch? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. All during the year, we go to vintage shows. You know, we're
Hmm.
constantly looking at a lot of different vintage pieces to decide, what our silhouettes might be in all categories, in shoes, bags, and apparel. And looking at different treatments for things like the heel of a shoe or a buckle on a shoe. There's all these special things, and we kind of capture those ideas in one place and keep them all together. And if we can use it for a season, it's great. If we can't, we keep it for the next season. So I might want to use a rhinestone buckle on a shoe or a bag. And until the season is right to do it or the silhouette is right to do it, we'll just keep that idea in mind.
Hmm.
But so we've got that sort of, I don't know, garden of things that we keep together. And then for each season our first thing is really pulling out our color palette and the prints we're going to use. So we really source prints from all over the world, and we do a lot of florals because I love
Hmm.
flowers and they're so super passionate about gardening. And so we use a lot of florals. We use stripes. We'll use, geos and different, you know, configurations,
Yeah.
and really look at different materials we're going to use and kind of bring all those together. And it's over a period of time, because once you find something you love, you really have to kind of sleep on it and think about it and what
Yeah.
silhouettes are those patterns going to work best in. And then really over time with the prints, with the silhouettes, and we start sketching those out, and our apparel designer puts them in a 3D format so we can really look at the shapes of things and the length and decide where we're going to put the pockets and the neckline and all of those things. And that's how it starts. And once we're satisfied with those, we ask for a first sample. And we'll get a first sample back. Sometimes it's in a sub material, which is just like a white muslin or something like that. And other times, if we have the material that we've chosen that we want them to use, the first sample will come back and look almost perfect. And then we'll try it on. We'll either try it on a fit model or I'll try it on, and we make some adjustments to it, make it perfect, send it back, and then we get a real sample back. And then
Okay.
at that point, when all of the samples were back for a particular market, we just got all of our fall samples in for this fall. So we just took them up to the showroom. We'll do a big edit next week where we pull things out that aren't going to work and keep things in that we absolutely love. And we start market appointments with retailers.
Okay. And with that, like how long is it like usually start for like to finish? Like starting of that till like the end? Like how long is that usually?
Oh, beginning to end. Okay, so usually we're designing in the season in which we're living, but it's a
Okay.
whole year ahead.
Okay.
So we just started working on spring 2026 right now, and we'll have that finished in about 4 months.
Okay. That's cool. I
Yeah.
didn't know it was that long of a process, but it makes sense too. But
Yeah,
like
'cause
when you're just a consumer, you don't really realize how much actually like goes into all that.
yeah, it's true because you need to buy the materials from because we go to fabric vendors all the time to
Hmm.
find new fabrics. And I feel lucky that things have become a lot more sustainable. So there's a
Yeah.
lot more sustainable materials out there for companies as small as ours that's more accessible to us now. So we utilize that a lot and use those
Hmm.
fabric appointments for that. But it takes a long time to order. You're like, okay, I need, 40 yards of this or meters, and it takes them a while because it might ship from Italy to, one of our manufacturers to make the samples. So all of that takes time.
Yeah, for sure. And being a woman entrepreneur, and you've been in the entrepreneur business space for quite a while now with like multiple businesses, have you ever had any challenges that you had to overcome, or have you ever felt like you weren't taken seriously as a woman?
I think earlier in my career, and it was a different time,
Hmm.
there weren't as many women in senior roles back then. And I think I've been lucky enough to live through a generation of the generation that has been able to move up. So I feel good about that. Yes, I know there were times when men got jobs ahead of me, but it was when I was younger, and that was kind of the way it was. So we all just accepted it back then.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad it's not that way anymore, or at least we've made a lot of progress, put it that way.
Hmm.
And then as far as challenges, I don't know. There are so many challenges that come your way. Even just in starting Frances Valentine, you know, we have had every challenge imaginable, honestly, with losing my business partner, with COVID, the economy's been tough for fashion, all of those things, which, none of which we could do anything about. But I
Yeah.
think it makes you more nimble and it forces you to figure things out. And as tough as it might be, and oh my God, what are we going to do? You get together with your team and you figure it out. And I think
Yeah.
it makes you stronger to have challenges like
100%.
that. I don't
Yeah.
like the challenges, but
Yeah.
you get through them, and they do make you stronger.
Yeah. After working on like such a successful company like Kate Spade and starting a new one, did you ever feel yourself either comparing the success between the two or anything like that? And how did you kind of deal with that? Because sometimes I feel
Oh,
like if we have like successful things and we start something new, we're like, oh, like it was so much better on this end with this or vice versa. Like, how did you deal with that?
right. And there's always that fear that lightning's not going to strike twice,
Hmm.
because we had such a meteoric rise with Kate Spade. It
Yeah.
just happened so quickly. And I feel like we were at an age where we had no other responsibility, and that was kind of our baby. So we
Yeah.
24/7, like we were in the office all the time on weekends, and all we did, I mean, we were all best friends too. So all
Hmm.
we ever did was talk about work. And it was fabulous and it was great. And I loved all of it. This time around has been different. The world is different. And
Yes.
part of that is, the world we knew when we sold Kate Spade was based on having wholesale accounts and opening your own retail stores. E-commerce was just starting out. When we jumped back into business, e-commerce was king. Influencers had taken over from
Yeah.
magazine editors. That whole world had changed. And we had to learn all new skills. So there were things that we thought, oh, we know how to do all this, and we're just going to stroll in. So
Yeah.
it takes you down a peg. But again, it's a challenge and you learn how to do it and you just keep going. And so we've had to learn how to do all those things over the last, I guess, 9 years. But it's been a great learning experience and I love it. And I'm still learning new things every day. I mean, just, you know, learning more about how to use social media every day
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah, for sure. And talking about like the new things like influencers and stuff, how has that like impacted the marketing strategy? And do you guys use like influencers at all?
We do. We tend to use a lot of micro influencers
Mhm.
because our business is regional around the country. And, we have business in every pocket of the country, but we have tended to use micro influencers a lot because we have our own retail stores. We've got
Mhm.
9 retail stores across the country, and it's really nice to be able to do in-store events with them and in
Yeah.
conjunction with them, and launching new products, et cetera. But I love working with influencers. They have a real point of view. They're not, necessarily beholden to anyone or anything. So it's nice because they can do what they like.
Yeah.
And if they like your brand and like your products, it's terrific. So I love working with influencers.
Yeah. I love that. So if anyone's listening to this right now and they're interested in starting their own business, specifically in fashion, what advice would you give to them?
Work for a company you admire first. And even take the low man on the totem pole job, because if you're, say, that office assistant and you help everybody in the office, you'll learn their job and
Hmm.
you'll learn about all the jobs in the company, and you can rule out things that you don't want to do and really focus on the things you do want to do. But when you learn about how a whole business operates, it prepares you to become an entrepreneur, and it prepares you to learn all the things that you need to do to own a business or to start a business. It's probably a good thing that I didn't know so much, or we didn't know so much when we started Kate Spade, because if we had known about all the things that we needed to know, we might not have tried to tackle it.
Yeah.
But I think the more experience and information you can go into a job or career choice with is really great. And focus on the things that you're good at, not
Yeah.
necessarily those things you're really passionate about, because the passion can come with the things you're really good at.
Yeah, no, I love that 100%. So the last part of our podcast, I asked people on Instagram to ask you questions, and I picked two of my favorite ones, and these ones are actually asked a few times by different people. So the first one is, what is your favorite self-care activity to wind down?
Oh gosh, I guess a hot bath. I
Hmm. I
love
love
taking
baths.
a hot bath, and I listen to a podcast or something really relaxing, and it's almost like nobody can bother you in that world.
Yeah.
It's really
No, I
fun.
love baths. Like,
And
we'll take them all
I,
the time.
yeah, yeah. And I also, I love to cook. When I have time, I love to cook food for my family. I love to make dinner. So that's another thing.
What's your like go-to meal to cook?
Right now, probably I've kind of been into lasagna lately. Lasagna,
Hmm.
just because it's so cold outside, it feels like one of those kind of
Yes.
hot comfort foods. And I make a lot of soup. So split pea
Love
soup,
soup.
that kind of thing.
Love that. And then the last question is, what is your favorite item in your closet at the moment?
Gosh. Okay, what am I? Maybe this leopard jacket.
Yeah, I love
I
it. When you hopped on, I was like, it just popped out right away.
I love cheetah and leopard and anything animal. And I just think it's people are like, oh yeah, that's on trend this year. I don't feel like it ever goes out of style. I just think animal prints are just always cool. And
Hmm.
there might be some that are more popular than others in any given year, but I think leopard and cheetah are just always cool.
Yeah, and I feel like it just makes an outfit. Like right now, you're wearing a black shirt, I think. I can't see the rest, but I feel
Yeah,
like,
I have a black mock neck sweater on.
yeah, and I feel like just adding that just makes the outfit like elevated even more.
Yes, I think so too. But this one's also so cozy and soft. It feels like you're hugging a stuffed animal. So
Love that.
it's I know, and it's so freezing in New York right now. So it's
Yeah. I'm in Montreal and it like we just had a snowstorm 2 days ago and I don't want to step outside.
I don't blame you. I don't. So make some lasagna.
Yes, I will be doing that. That's all I had for you today. So thank you so much again for coming on. Before you leave, do you want to shout out any of the socials where people can find you, where they can shop your stuff?
Oh, yes, thank you. That'd be so nice. So we have 9 stores. I won't talk about all of the locations of those. You can always find us on francesvalentine.com. My personal Instagram is Elyce_Arons, and we're also on TikTok at Frances Valentine. So you
Awesome. Well,
can
thank you.
find us there. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much,
much again
Amanda. It
for
was a
having me
pleasure
on.
talking to you today.
Of course. Thank you.